On November 2, 2025, the Ohio government took several significant actions in response to the ongoing federal government shutdown and its impact on state residents, particularly regarding food assistance and emergency preparedness. The day was marked by executive, legislative, and agency-level activities focused on mitigating the effects of the disruption to federal programs, especially the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. Major government actions. Governor Mike DeWine signed Executive Order 2025-6D, directing the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, ODJFS, to allocate up to $25 in state funds for food assistance to families affected by the suspension of federal SNAP benefits. The order was a direct response to the federal government's failure to deposit funds for SNAP, which would have left approximately 1.4 million Ohioans without critical food benefits. The executive order also authorized the release of $7 to food banks across the state and $18 in emergency relief for more than 60,000 residents living at or below the poverty line. These funds were intended to provide immediate relief and prevent food scarcity among vulnerable populations, including children, seniors, and veterans. Legislative activities. The Ohio House Democratic Caucus sent a formal letter to Governor DeWine on November 2, urging immediate action to address the looming crisis. The letter, signed by all 34 members of the caucus, called on the governor to declare a state of emergency, unlock up to $100 in state funds for food banks, and mobilize the Ohio National Guard to assist with food distribution. The Democrats emphasized the urgency of the situation, noting that over 500,000 children, 250,000 seniors, and 45,000 veterans were at risk of going hungry if SNAP benefits were not restored. The letter specifically requested that the governor use his executive authority to declare an emergency and work with the legislature to access emergency funds, including those available through the controlling board. Enforcement actions. While there were no new enforcement actions reported on November 2, the ODJFS began implementing the provisions of the executive order, preparing to distribute funds to food banks and eligible residents. The department was tasked with ensuring that the emergency relief reached those most in need, coordinating with local agencies and nonprofit organizations to maximize the impact of the state's response. Public events. There were no major public events reported on November 2, but the governor's office and the ODJFS held press briefings to inform the public about the executive order and the state's efforts to address food scarcity. These briefings highlighted the importance of the $25 food assistance program and the additional $7 for food banks, reassuring Ohioans that the state was taking proactive steps to protect vulnerable populations during the federal shutdown. Key details. Date November 2, 2025. Agencies involved: Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, ODJFS, Ohio House Democratic Caucus. Officials: Governor Mike DeWine, members of the Ohio House Democratic Caucus. Key provisions: $25 in state funds for food assistance, $7 to food banks, $18 in emergency relief for low-income residents, request for a state of emergency declaration and mobilization of the National Guard, coordination with food banks and local agencies for food distribution. The actions taken on November 2 reflected a coordinated effort by the Ohio government to respond to the federal shutdown's impact on SNAP benefits, with a focus on protecting the most vulnerable residents and ensuring that food assistance remained available during the crisis.